Taoiseach, I'm not sure if the forum that you're proposing to deal with foreign policy, security, neutrality matters is part of this foresight and research group, but I would like an answer to the question Deputy Paul Murphy asked earlier, which is, why have you decided to abandon the original proposal to have a citizens' assembly made up of a representative but random group, a cross-section of Irish society, and instead have this stakeholder forum, where it would appear to me you are looking to find justification for moving us, as I think you want to do, away from neutrality. Personally, I believe that's what the Biden visit was substantially about. It was about conditioning Irish public opinion to the idea we should align ourselves with the US, with NATO, and indeed, you know, what guarantees are you going to give this isn't going to be as biased as that visit was in terms of, you know, examining issues that it's proposing to look at, such as the international rules-based order. I mean, I just find it extraordinary. We can use phrases in the same sort of sentence as we welcome Joe Biden and applause him. Someone who supports apartheid in Israel, somebody who sells weapons to the most brutal dictatorship in the world in Saudi Arabia, and you can go through the list of brutal dictatorships. Are we going to be examining the threat from US imperialism in this forum?
Mary Lou MacDonald.
Thanks very much, deputies. Just in relation to Deputy Batch's question, I just want to join with her in commending the work of the Gardaí, the DPP and the courts. As she said, it is 5 years since there's been a murder in Ireland linked to a feud involving serious organised crime gangs, and please God that will continue. I know the Gardaí have done phenomenal work in that regard, as have the prosecutors and the court. 2 convictions secured this week. 1 acquittal, which was not the outcome the state wanted, but it does prove that the Special Criminal Court is a place where people get a fair trial. And I think it underlines the case for retaining it. And it's particularly important, I think we all understand this, one of the reasons why we have the 2 Special Criminal Courts is because it allows trials to happen without jury and enables us to put some really bad people away who would otherwise intimidate a jury and their family members and make it impossible for there to be a trial at all. In terms of the independent review, which is being headed up by former Justice Michael Peart, that's the review of the Offences Against the State Act. I haven't received it yet and it hasn't gone to government yet. I don't know if the Minister of Justice has it, but I will find out. But ideally we'd obviously like to have it published and debated before June when we have the vote on the continuation of the Special Criminal Court. Just in relation to a citizens' assembly on neutrality or on security policy, no proposal nor any draft proposal was put to government in that regard. I do think the Taoiseach, when Taoiseach suggested as an option for consideration, but there was never a proposal made to government. He gave it further consideration and came up with a different proposal, which was then put to Cabinet and was agreed, and that's the one he's proceeding with at the moment. On collective bargaining, if my recollection is correct, the commitments that we've made in relation to legislating for collective bargaining derives from the EU directive on minimum wages and collective bargaining. I think we've something like 2 years to produce an action plan, and the commitment that we made was to have some legislation this year or next, but I haven't been across that file now for a couple of months, and I'd have to check with Minister Richmond as to where we are in that regard, but I'm happy to get back to deputies on it. The expert group on the TV licence or the broadcasting charge, again, haven't seen the report. Not sure if Minister Martin has it yet, but I believe it's imminent, so we should see it quite soon. We'll have a chance to debate it. In terms of Finland and horizon planning, I know a little bit about that, not enough. I'm familiar with the fact that they've had this committee for the future. I think they've had it for a long time now. It probably goes back 20 years at this stage, because I knew a member of it going back, a Finnish MP, who was a huge advocate of it. And I haven't had a chance to take a look at Deputy Cossey's bill, but I will take a look at it and see if there's a space for us in that. We have an awful lot of committees, as I think the Count Corla will acknowledge, but perhaps it might be something that we work up for the next stall, and could be part of the programme for the next stall to have a committee in that regard. Again, in relation to evictions or illegal evictions, I'm very reluctant to make any comment on any video that's gone viral. you know, it mightn't be, you can look at any video online, you don't know what happened in the 4 or 5 minutes before that or the 4 or 5 minutes after that. And I think we need to be very careful not to jump to conclusions in that regard. But, you know, the role of the Gardaí is to keep the peace and to enforce the law. And breaking and entering somebody's property without permission is against the law. As far as I know, or threatening somebody with violence or using violence against them is against the law. But these are really only questions I think the Gardaí can answer.